Hey, how is it going, everybody? I just got done rewatching all of the Naruto movies, so I thought it'd be fun to do another non-Yu-Gi-Oh video like I did with some of the last ones and just rank every single Naruto video, just kind of deviate from what I normally do and do that occasionally from time to time. So, here we have every single Naruto movie laid out. I kind of just made the screen bigger just to flatter the screen a bit more. I'm gonna be doing what I did last time with the other movies. I'm just gonna be ranking them in order of the one I like the best to the one I like the least. There's not gonna be a S rank A, B, C, D going on down because I think there's individual things to enjoy about any single one of these movies. And really, the only thing I care about is which one do I feel like watching more on any given day if I'm not just watching them all straight through in order. So that's going to be the main criteria in ranking these is just my own personal bias. Which one do I like more? But I'll also try and throw in a few objective things. How well is the story of each movie? Do the characters fit naturally? Does the movie itself fit naturally enough into the canon? Which, spoiler alert, there's a reason why all but one of these movies is non-canon. So we'll get into that when we do that. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump in. When I do these, I'll try to briefly explain words. I'll try to briefly explain where each of these fits in during the story arcs for those of you that have watched Naruto. And obviously, before we get into this, spoilers for any and all of Naruto. If you are in the middle of watching it and don't want anything spoiled, click away from this video because I will, of course, be saying major story spoilers throughout this entire thing. So, I'll try to give a brief synopsis of where every single movie is and a brief little, I guess, summary of each movie without taking up too much time. So we come to the first one, Naruto the movie Ninja Clash in the Land of Snow. This is, of course, during part one before it becomes Shippuden. This one is where we hit the first snafu where it comes to canon because canonically it just doesn't fall into the story very well, which is why it is, of course, a non-canon movie. So Naruto knows the Rasengan in this, but all of Team 7 is here. And that doesn't really work because for those of you that remember the original series, when Naruto learns and fully masters the Rasengan, it's during the Tsunade retrieval arc right before they have the three-way deadlock with Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade. And they do that after Sasuke and Itachi are Sasuke and Kakashi are both put into a coma by Itachi, and they need Tsunade to both be the new Hokage and to heal them from that. So Naruto knowing the Rasengan means that Sasuke should currently be in a coma waiting on Tsunade to heal him. And yet here Naruto is in this movie knowing the Rasengan and having a mission with Sasuke. So canonically, this movie doesn't hold up to the canonical story, but it is, of course, an entertaining movie nonetheless. And this is the first movie, so we're just gonna go ahead and throw it in there. Again, these movies are just gonna be in order of which ones I like better. Just because a movie is up here and another movie is down here doesn't mean that I think that this movie is far and away superior by leaps and bounds to movies down here. I just made it this way just to fill out the screen a bit more and to make it look a little bit nicer. Otherwise, I would have just had every single movie on one line, and then it just would have been a single line and not really looked all that good. These next two movies are really easy to place canonically because they are after Naruto and Sasuke's fight in the Final Valley and right before the end of Part 1 before we go to Shippuden. And, it's pretty much the end of that arc and then right before Naruto goes off to train with Jiraiya for the few years that he's away from the village and before the time skip to Shippuden. So these next two movies can, I guess, fit in the canon nicely enough because there's nothing really happening there, and that's when the anime goes into a whole bunch of filler stuff that didn't happen. So, canonically, these are fine, even though they, of course, didn't really happen. Legend of the Stone of Galel. Oh, I guess I didn't. Brief little synopsis of this. Team 7 gets contracted to guard an actress who turns out to be a princess of the Land of Snow, and they have to take her back there. There's a whole thing about a coup that happened and then having to reinstate her to the throne. She's not easy to deal with, but she comes around in the end because Talk no Jutsu is the best jutsu in the series. Naruto can convince anybody, and just all the fights that go on with that. This is the most nostalgic for me, just because I watched this one the most as a kid, and it's just great. It's iconic. Legend of the Stone of Galel. They come across this. What's the best way to describe it? I guess the easiest way is just there's another group of people hunting for these stones called Galel. Go figure. Hence the movie. Um, so this dude is trying to create utopia. He says in his own words, and then he's sending out people to try and find different materials of Galel, and eventually the big crux of the movie, the mines of Galel, and he's using all these different people together. There's this whole subplot with like an old royal family, and of course it's Naruto, Sakura, and Shikamaru is Sasuke's stand-in for this mission because he is the one Chunin at this point among the people in Naruto's class. So, and then it's just everything that happens from there. Non-canon kid is at odds with Naruto at first, and then they fight each other, but then end up working together. You know how Naruto goes. Um, I like Ninja Clash and Land of Snow is more iconic for me, so I'm gonna put this one behind. I'm gonna put Stone of Galel behind Clash and the Land of Snow just for nostalgia reasons and my own personal bias. But it's still solid. Nice watch. Guardians of the Crescent Moon Kingdom, I actually watched more than, not as much as this one, but more than this one because this one didn't catch my, Stone of Galel didn't catch my attention more than the rest of these. Guardians of the Crescent Moon Kingdom is same place as this one. It's after Final Valley fight and before the time skip, and this is the last part 1 movie before we get into Shippuden. Guardians of the Crescent Moon Kingdom is much easier to explain plot-wise. Team 7, who this time has Rock Lee as a stand-in for Sasuke instead of anybody else, but Kakashi is back at this point. They get contracted to guard the Prince of the Land of Moon, who is returning to his homeland after, I guess, massive sightseeing abroad, and they're just heading home. There ends up being this entire, sent them away to protect them by his father arc. There's a big coup going on with these other rogue ninja, and then big fight happens from there. You know how Naruto movie goes. As I said earlier, I watched this one more. I just have more fondness for this. The story just fits a bit nicer for me. It's a lot more easy to digest, and it's just a lot more simple. So I like this better. Plus, Kakashi's back, so you always got to enjoy that. And that is the end of part 1. Then we have the time skip into Shippuden. A few of these get a little bit weird with canon, but it's not too bad overall. It's not as bad as Ninja Clash and Land of Snow because this one just would not happen with canon. But Naruto Shippuden the movie, this one happens, I believe, right after the Kazakage retrieval arc. So they just saved Gaara from the Akatsuki after they were after his tailed beast, and before anything else happened. This one is there's some demon creature who's gonna rise again and destroy the world, whatever. And then there's some priestess who has the power to seal it away. And then it ends up being Naruto's team with Sai and all them that end up having to protect them and guide them to some place where, reseal the demon away, essentially, before it can rejoin its soul in its body. It's it's the standard Naruto movie formula, basically. This one was fine enough. I think I think I do like it better than Stone of Galel, but not more so than these two. These are just more iconic for me. It just, I don't know. I guess I ended up watching this one more as well as a kid, and this one just stuck better with me than Stone of Galel. Naruto Shippuden the movie Bonds. This is canonically, this is a little strange as well. This one is it's sort of during a filler arc. This is the whole deal with the other dude that can that guy that for some reason has access to 4 tails of the 9-tailed chakra. It's one of the famous Naruto filler arcs that spans for a while, so it's kind of the same era, but also a filler arc. So it's essentially think of it as the same thing. Naruto hasn't learned the Rasen Shuriken yet. Basically, is the most important thing with that. So with Bonds, there is a mythical village called or a mythical nation called the Land of Sky that suddenly reappears with some of its lost technology and bombs a lot of the great nations, particularly the Land of Fire and the Leaf Village. And then this doctor dude helps out with healing some of the people and essentially roping the Leaf into the conflict. And the movie is pretty much the retaliation to that, and then they follow the Doctor Dude to what ends up being the main Sky Fortress that he is after, and they essentially have to stop him from reactivating this big Sky Fortress because it's equipped with the ultimate weapon of destruction that can destroy the villages. And then they also create a new tailed beast called the Zero Tails that just absorbs chakra, particularly absorbs it from the darkness in people's hearts. And then Sasuke shows up because Orochimaru wants this doctor dude for his for some medical healing jutsu thing that will supposedly help his condition. So Sasuke ends up showing up before he reappears to Naruto and his team. So this movie is essentially the non-canon reunion of Naruto and Sasuke before it actually happens in the anime, and then the whole subplot with all those people. This one, I kind of like it better than the whole demon destroying the world thing. Doesn't really work for Naruto because at this point there's not really anything going on with any of the. I'll go ahead and move this one down as well. The whole demon destroying the world doesn't work as well with Naruto, just because aside from Kaguya way later on at the end of Shippuden, Naruto doesn't really do that as far as world destroying entities or big major threats. Major threats are other ninja, other villages. So I thought that was a little weird to had to be the focus of a Naruto movie. This one fits a little more naturally, even though it's a little ridiculous to invent a whole made up nation, although that's the entire premise of Land of Snow. So, this one's just up here for nostalgia, basically, and but it's essentially the same thing going on here in another made up nation, but it works a little bit better just because most of this would happen in universe anyway, given the circumstances that happen. The whole world destroying demon thing doesn't work as well for me. Will of Fire. This happens right after the Sasuke and Orochimaru fight, as well as the Hidan Kakuzu fight. So at this point, Naruto knows the Rasen Shuriken, the Akatsuki have begun to have been taken on, and some of them killed, and then just progress in the Shinobi world. This one is also a little strange. This supposed old friend of the Sanin of Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya comes back, and he supposedly tagged Kakashi a while ago with some formula that would bring him to his hideout so he could absorb his Kekkei Genkai. Like he's a dude trying to become the perfect ninja, and there's some Deus Ex Machina day where he can do it, where he can absorb all these different ninja styles to become untouchable and invincible, and he can also absorb different Kekkei Genkai, and for some reason he chose Kakashi's Sharingan to be, the Sharingan absorbing Kekkei Genkai, and there's the whole subplot with that. Most of Naruto's class, if not all of them, end up having to go retrieve Naruto, actually, because Tsunade is the one that sends Kakashi with like a trap formula, but that will end up killing Kakashi. And then Naruto's like, no, we're not doing that, so I'm gonna go save him. And then, so Naruto's entire class goes to stop Naruto, but in the end, they end up fighting the henchmen of the dude, and then it turns into a bunch of actually really cool separate fights. You get to see everybody use a little bit of their own abilities and get some more screen time, more than they normally would. But of course, it ends up as the Naruto fights in the Naruto movie, because go figure, title character. This one, I think I'm going to place behind Bonds, just because dude trying to become the perfect ninja and who is supposedly friends doesn't really work as well for me as well. And then he's going about absorbing all of the Kekkei but he chooses Kakashi for the Sharingan, which why would you not choose a still living Uchiha like Sasuke or Itachi or any of them? And if you're dead set on absorbing a bunch of different Kekkei, there's more than five, which he states that there's only five in the movie, but there's way more than that. And there doesn't even appear to be a Hyuga there for the Byakugan, so it's essentially just a way to get the villain motivation out without actually having to explain it, and it kind of just hangs there and expects you to forget about the rest, which sure, fair enough, but ends up not really working, and it's cool enough for its action scenes, but that's about it. I like Bonds better, so yeah, that's just where I'm going to be putting those. I'll go ahead and start making that works well enough. The order of these doesn't really matter at this point. Sure, why not? Let's just go ahead and start putting them like this. Why not? The Lost Tower. This one is also a little bit strange because this is basically right before Naruto goes to learn Sage Mode. He doesn't learn Sage Mode in this, and he therefore does not know that Minato is his father. This is the time travel movie. This one is so Team 7, not Kakashi, this time it's Yamato, Sai, Sakura, and Naruto get sent to investigate the ruins of, again, another made-up nation. I think it's called Lorun. They get sent to investigate some strange anomaly there and to capture a rogue puppet master ninja who's, I guess, escaped and plotting something bad. It's generic movie villain is what he is. So they end up at these ruins where supposedly the fourth Hokage had shut off a major power source of natural chakra in the earth that basically is tantamount to infinite chakra if you apply it to a power source, but only the bloodline people of whatever it is can open and close that power source. So he finds that, and he undoes the seal by absorbing it, but when he does so, he unintentionally opens up a rift in time, and Naruto, and Yamato get sucked through and go back in time. He goes first, 6 years ahead of Naruto. Naruto shows up 6 years after him, and then Yamato shows up like a couple days afterward. That's just how the vortex works, I guess. And then it's this whole big debacle of they're 20 years prior in the future, so it's this big conflict that happened in the past, and then supposedly the elite village of that time, who is under the I think the rule of Hiruzen, who should be the current Hokage because the Leaf Village of 20 years ago sends an Anbu team who consists of Choji's father, Shino's father, and Minato, who the audience does not yet know is Naruto's father if you're an anime watcher. But they are sent to investigate something that happened there as well, which ends up being the event that leads to the fourth Hokage sealing it. And it's basically the premature reunion of Naruto and who we will come to know as his father, Minato. They don't know that yet. It's basically the equivalent to Bonds. Bonds was the premature reunion of Naruto and Sasuke. Lost Tower is the premature recognition that Minato is Naruto's father. So basically, just think of it as that. And I think, I kind of want to place it behind Bonds. Yeah, I think so. I almost placed it in front of Bonds. I'm placing it in front of Will of Fire because I still can't get past like, how basically lightly thrown together a lot of that is. I'm gonna put it here because a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie basically results to what we know Minato can do. They don't use him enough. Like he would be able to solve majority of these problems with his abilities alone, and that just is not allowed to happen. And Naruto's abilities as well. Like they have him getting thrown around and beaten up a lot more than we know that he's capable. It's your standard non-canon movie kind of making your characters seem weaker so that the villains seem stronger, essentially, is what ends up happening. And of course, the time travel element is just like eh, the Naruto world isn't really known for stuff like that happening, so it's whatever and just is kind of there, I guess. Moving on to one that is actually really cool. So this one's probably going a bit higher than those if I had to guess. Blood Prison is pretty neat. This one is after. This is right after the Pain arc because Naruto now knows Sage Mode, and so it's in the little break before the Pain arc. As far as story kind of goes, this one an unidentified person attacks a couple different world leaders, and some of their aides end up getting killed. We're treated to an opening scene of the Raikage having a meeting with some of his officials, and a few of them get killed by an unknown assailant. They unmask the person, and it looks like Naruto. So somebody has essentially framed Naruto to get him thrown into what is going to be the main location of the movie, the prison known as Hozuki Castle, I believe. Maybe Hozuku Castle. I don't know. It's the Blood Prison, essentially. Whatever the name of the prison is, and the reason being is there's some supposed mystical. I think they call it Box of Paradise that is legend to is rumored to whoever opens it has whatever wish they wanted granted, and different nations are fighting over how to get it, how they can use it, and then what are the requirements to do so. So this whole plot happens, and then Naruto ends up being framed and sent to the prison, and then they go on to find out more about the box, and then what's going on with the lord of the castle, and the conflict between the nation of grass, I believe it is. It's another made up nation. They're the hidden grass had a civil war a while ago. Now there's the faction of grass that wants to open the box, and the other faction of grass that wants to keep the other faction from opening it. Um, so you have this whole internal conflict. Naruto meets one of the characters in the prison who's part of the anti-box foundation, and tries to help him from prevent them from opening it. So you have that entire thing going on throughout the rest of that, and then it basically just comes down to the final fight whenever predictably it gets open, and then chaos ensues from there. And it's really neat because at the end you have pretty much every single major Leaf Village character coming in to help with the final fight, and you get to see a little bit of their abilities shine. Not for too long. Like everyone gets enough screen time in the fight, but not as much as you would think that they would get for a major fight like this. But it is still pretty nice for it to happen at the end of that all. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of there and entertaining enough. This one, I think I am going to put ahead of Law. I think I'm gonna still keep it behind Bonds just because I think Bonds works more naturally. But I am gonna put it in front of Lost Tower. I'll go ahead and start organizing these a bit more. I guess Stone of Galel is not getting any love from this whatsoever, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure this is gonna stay at the as my least favorite one, even though I still, again, I like all these movies. I'm just putting them in order, and this is just for show. So, this movie isn't too terribly worse than all the rest of this. So, don't fret about that. Road to Ninja. This one is a little bit strange because this is after the I'm pretty sure this is after the Five Kage Summit because everybody knows who they currently know as Madara, but the masked orange man has declared himself as Madara, and he is seeking all of the tailed beasts to complete his plan, essentially world domination plan. It's the Project Tsukinome, it leads to the war arc basically. This movie takes place after Naruto obtains some of the Nine-Tails chakra, and the fight between Naruto, B, and Guy, and all of them fight Kisame. And it basically happens after Naruto gets a little bit of Nine-Tails chakra, and somewhat control over him is the most important part. This movie is basically Madara's attempt to obtain the Nine Tails. It's a non-canon attempt at stealing the Nine Tails from Naruto. Essentially, he traps Naruto and Sakura as well, just because she happens to be standing next to him whenever he casts the jutsu. In an alternate world that basically traps them in their not happy memories, but in a world of what they desire the most in that moment. So it basically sends them into a parallel world where every single person acts the opposite of what their normal personality type is. Like Shino hates bugs, Kiba is a cat person, Hinata, instead of being shy and timid, is like kind of an aggressive asshole, which is really funny. Um, the big one is that Sakura and Naruto's parents have switched places. So Sakura's parents are dead. Sakura's dad was the fourth Hokage. Sakura's parents died saving the village, and Naruto's parents are still alive. That is the biggest change, aside from everybody else having opposite personality types. So they're essentially sent into this parallel world so that Naruto's seal can be weakened, and who they think is Madara at the time can steal the Nine Tails. And then there's this whole subplot about a prophecy within the world to have the main person undone and defeated. And then the big fight happens from there about adjusting to this world, and then the fight that happens afterward. The coolest thing about this movie is we get a couple scenes where we get to see Naruto basically just having normal family life with Minato and Kushina, which is really cool to see because obviously that wouldn't happen in the canon because they're dead, unfortunately. So that is basically what this movie is for, is seeing everybody in their opposite personality types and seeing what it would be like for Naruto to have an average everyday family, because he's never gotten that, which is pretty neat to see. For that reason, the whole limited Tsukuyomi Genjutsu thing is a little ridiculous because their excuse is they needed more tail beasts in order to pull it off, so that's why this is a one of offshoot and it never happens again. It's still a little bit far fetched for it to happen, but I digress. Uh, supposedly it could still happen. This one I have a lot more nostalgia for as well, just because I ended up watching this one more so than the others. think I'm I think I'm gonna put it above Crescent Moon Kingdom. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna take this one down. Actually, I'm gonna take this one down, and I'm at least putting it below Bonds. I don't know if I want to put it above Blood Prison or not. I don't think so. I think I'm gonna keep that here. So I'll move this down for the sake of moving it. And matter of fact, we'll go ahead and do some more organization of these, and we'll get back to the rest of them later. But yeah, Road to Ninja was a really good one. If you can't tell, Ninja Clash in the Land of Snow is kind of being carried hard by nostalgia here. It's probably not as good as I give it credit for, but it's just a classic. I love it. It's so good. Moving on, we have The Last, and what's funny about that is, yes, the title of the movie is actually called The Last Naruto the movie, which is ironic because this is where they meant for it to end, but then of course Boruto happened, and then it ended up continuing. But what is really really funny about this is all the rest of these movies are non-canon. This movie, including all the ridiculous stuff that happens in it, is canon, which I didn't know for the longest time, but apparently every single thing that happens in this movie is a canon event because it is part of the actual story. Which I didn't believe because it has all the dumb shit with like traveling to the moon and like a chakra cannon powered by a couple dozen people that could supposedly, blow up the moon, which is kind of weird and seemingly dumb. But yeah, this movie is canon. So this one's easy to place in the canon. This is after every single event that happens in Shippuden. This is after this is after the Kaguya fight. This is after Naruto and Sasuke's final fight. This is at the complete end of the series. This is the last thing that happens before Boruto, and obviously barring anything that happens off screen between Naruto Shippuden and Boruto. Go figure. They figured this was going to be the end of it. But so this one starts off with a mysterious figure known as Toneri going to the leader of the Hyuga, asking him a question, and then the Hyuga refusing, attacking them, and then subsequently getting destroyed. And then come to find out that the moon is slowly approaching the Earth, and it looks to be intentional. And there seems to be a connection with this moon guy because Tonari sends in agents to kidnap Hanabi Hyuga because he needs a Byakugan in order to implant into himself. And then he tries to get Hinata as well, but Naruto steps in and stops that. So they send a four-man team comprised of Shikamaru. Oh no, wait, I think it's a. They designed it as a four-man team. But it's a five-man team. It's Shikamaru, Sakura, Naruto, Sai, and then Hinata ends up going along as well to basically investigate Hanabi's disappearance, and they think it's connected to the moon as well. So they give him essentially a fancy timer saying when the moon is going to collide with the Earth. So they go investigate that. They end up on the moon by accident, and then you have the whole movie happening of, what's going on, what's all happening. It turns out to be this whole subplot of, like, Hamura Otsutsuki, who's the Sage of Six Paths brother, the people of the moon saying there was a mistaken decree that if they thought the world ever got too evil, then Hamura's decree is to destroy the Earth. And then there's a whole subplot of, no, that prophecy is wrong, you need to stop them from doing this, but Tonari is like, no, I'm going to destroy the Earth, etc., etc. You have the whole subplots with that, and every single fight that happens with that. But the main draw of this movie is, this is where Naruto finally starts to realize that he actually has feelings for Hinata. So instead of the usual things we get in the series of Hinata being all lovey-dovey toward Naruto and being in love with him, this is where Naruto starts to finally realize that he is in love with Hinata, and this is the canonical story of how he realized that he was in love with her. So this is the basically the events that finally bring them together is the main appeal of this movie, and then all the fighting and things that happen with the villain in this and all that. And it of course works and it's pretty good because it is in fact a canonical movie. So the canon and the likelihood of the story is of no debate because it did actually happen, which is going to place this pretty high. And rewatching it, it doesn't really have the same feeling as seeing it for the first time and seeing the feelings develop. But a few, of course, ridiculous things happen just given the nature of the movie. But this it's just so good. Finally seeing the payoff to Hinata's feelings and their relationship with that. I'm debating whether or not I want to put this in front of Ninja Clash in the Land of Snow, but nostalgia is pulling at me really, really hard with like. I know this movie doesn't deserve to be this high, but my nostalgia is coming through really, really hard right now. And I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can move it. I really want to, but this is definitely going over this one. But I don't know if I can do any more than that. We're gonna go ahead and put these down. Uh I guess I am gonna leave it there. Yeah, I can't bring myself to move it. The nostalgia's too good. Anyway, we unfortunately have one more, and yes, this does count as a movie because it did have a theatrical release. And I know that they redid this in the Boruto series, and believe me when I say that pretty much the entirety of the events are told better in the Boruto series, with notable exceptions, of course. This is, in fact, a movie, and it technically counts as a Naruto movie because it's called Boruto Naruto the Movie. So, we will be ranking this one as well, and this one's in a weird spot because it is canon, but non-canon stuff happens in it. So like non-canon stuff happens in the series as well. Like Urashiki just does not exist in the manga, but he does in the anime. But the movie takes a little bit of a different route. One, it skips a bunch of information because it tries to cram a bunch of chapters into a single movie, as one does. But the main thing that just never gets past me is they do Momoshiki's fusion with Kinshiki so differently, and this is where I think the series does it much better. Fused Momoshiki is far and away better in the series than in the movie. But I guess I should start with with a brief synopsis of this one. So this is in the early period of Boruto, where this is after all the academy stuff. This is where Boruto's team is they're team 7. It's Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki with Konohamaru as their team captain who is guiding them. And then they have the opportunity to take the tuning exam. So this is basically the Boruto era tuning exam arc is essentially what it is. And they go about the tuning exams, and then the big crux of the movie is Boruto is a lot more lazy than his father. He's got a lot more natural talent, so things come a lot easier to him, and he doesn't value hard work as much. He gets presented with this thing called a scientific ninja tool, where you basically just get to load a bunch of pre-done jutsu into the scroll, and it doesn't even take any chakra to perform them. So you bypass the hard work of doing it entirely. And this is really alluring to Boruto because he previously tries to learn the Rasengan earlier in the movie. His father's trademark jutsu that was invented by his grandfather, and all the rest of that. And he produces what he thinks is a far less superior version, which it ends up being, but has its own cool nature to it. Um, so then he's simultaneously trying to be Sasuke's student and be good enough for the tuning exam. So he takes the offer for the scientific ninja tool to use it in the tuning exam, and then go through it. He ends up using it in the second and third round, but he gets caught by his father. He gets caught by Naruto in the semifinals of the tournament. In the series, he gets caught in the finals, which is a slight little change. But you have this dynamic throughout the movie where Naruto and Boruto don't really know how to interact with each other because Naruto didn't have a father growing up. Minato died on the day of his birth. So and then Boruto is upset of Naruto constantly being away because he's so busy being Hokage that he's not able to be home a bunch. So that's why Boruto is more willing to use the ninja tool, because he wants his father's attention, and he thinks the way to do that and to look better than having to put in the hard work is with the ninja tool, and then they're at odds with each other. But then throughout the entirety of all of this, you have a prophecy fulfilled where two more Otsutsukis, who are Momoshiki and Kinshiki, find their way to Earth, and they are seeking to finish what Kaguya started in harvesting the planets. And they're doing that by going after all the tailed beasts, and they start with Bee and Naruto. So when they come after Naruto, they of course attack the village. Naruto gets taken away, and they have to get him back. They have the big final battle with all the five Kage, Sasuke, and Boruto, and then you have the final fight from there, and that's where it ends. This one is easy to debate canonically because it is technically canon. There's a few different changes in the series, which is why the series is the more canon version. But there's a lot of stuff I like in this one better. I like how Boruto gets caught with the ninja tool a lot more in this than I do the series, because in the series he gets caught with it in the finals by using Kakashi's new trademark jutsu, Purple Lightning, which is really, really dumb because Kakashi is literally the only ninja that can use that, and Boruto knows lightning style, but he does not know even the basic lightning blade, let alone Purple Lightning. So just going full on over the top is seemingly a Boruto thing to do, but having it be that painfully obvious is just stupid. In this movie, he gets caught by making a bunch of shadow clones that he's not able to normally make, which is where Naruto finally catches him. His limit on shadow clones is, I think, 4 throughout this entire thing, and then he ends up making a couple dozen in the semifinals. And then Naruto's like, "Hold up, that ain't right." But that's a lot more subtle, and that's a lot more believable because he's already capable of making shadow clones. So why wouldn't he be able to make a few more, barring extraneous circumstances? That seems a lot more believable. In the series, in that same fight, they have him make one additional shadow clone, which makes him win the fight. Which that makes more sense as opposed to making a few more dozen. But then they just throw all of that out the water by having him use Purple Lightning with the ninja tool, so they just throw out the entire concept away anyway. So it's just really dumb. I like how the series handles that part better, or I like how this handles Boruto being caught better, but overall I like the series more so, just because the Momoshiki fight is better and makes more sense in that, and everything just plays out a lot more nicely. But overall, not as bad as people give it credit for. It shouldn't exist because I think it should have ended with Naruto and I just think Boruto shouldn't exist overall. But it is here regardless. If nothing else, the series fight with Momoshiki is just it's a return to just brilliant choreography and what made Naruto Naruto, so it was really good. Um, it's not bad. It's got a really good dynamic between the tensions between Naruto and Boruto that would naturally develop with them. Although Boruto is just a whiny little shit who's upset that his dad is like the most important person in the world, keeping world peace essentially. So it's really dumb in that aspect. I kind of want to put it like around here, if not a little bit lower. It's definitely not going up here. It's not on the same level as the last and Road to Ninja and Bonds. I think it goes under these as well. I could see it going above for me above Blood Prison, but I don't know if it should. I don't even know if I want to put it above Lost Tower because having Naruto go on a mission with his dad is just really cool. Even if the time travel thing is a little bit dumb. Um I'm gonna put Blood Prison higher, and I think I am gonna put it above Will of Fire, I think. Definitely, but I don't know if I'm putting it behind or in front of Lost Tower. I think at this moment I think I'd rather watch Lost Tower than Boards of the movie. So I think I'm gonna put it there. And well, there is also bonus content with this movie. You also get the day that Naruto was inaugurated as Hokage, which is which is the day that Naruto's daughter Himawari gets the Byakugan. She gets pissed at Boruto for breaking her teddy bear, and then she accidentally locks Naruto's chakra point, so he's incapacitated for the whole day. And it's the way they present it is humorous and really funny, and then everything that happens around that. So there is a little bit of bonus content there that kind of elevates that as well. Um, nah, I think I am gonna stick with it with there. So I guess just a little bit of a review for everything, just to make sure everything's where I want it to be. Nostalgia played really, really hard for this. This should probably be lower, but I just can't bring myself to do it just because this was so much of my childhood. It's so good. The last is so good. I really like where they went with that. Road to Ninja I really liked. Bonds was really good. Uh all nostalgia for me. Yeah, I think this should work for me. If you ask me on any given day, and I could change these up, so we're just gonna keep this as is, and we're just gonna roll with it. I think that's about all I got for you. Of course, if you think my opinions are dog shit, feel free to comment down below. And I just do these for fun, just to get away from Yu-Gi-Oh for a little bit. So just throw these out just in case anybody is fans of these, and to see what happens with these types of videos. So that is about all I got for you. Thanks for indulging me in this non-Yu-Gi-Oh shenaniganry, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good rest of the day.